Hello, everyone. I'm just setting up here now. And if you can hear me, make sure you tell me in the comments section. How's everyone doing today? I'm just checking the who's in the chat. And of course, Prakar, Arash, Tika, Labda Shop. Good evening, everyone. Well, hello. And Layla's here. Good hello. And we have a new person, 032 Suhardidman. Hi. Arash is here. And other people are coming in now. So welcome if you're here now. If you're new to the channel, I am Robin Shaw. I am an English teacher in Korea. I have been an English teacher for almost 20 years. And tonight we are going to talk about English. So the structure, well, let's go to the schedule. I showed you guys this schedule yesterday. So this is the schedule I'm going to try. Of course, I'm doing live streams every night. This week, next week. The schedule will change once I go back to university and I get a little bit more busier. But for now, I'm going to try every night. And these are the topics for at least this week. It might change next week. So Monday and Tuesday, this is Monday. It's Q&A. So you have English questions and you ask me your English questions and I will try to answer. I do not promise I will answer every question for two main reasons. The first reason, I might not know the answer to your question. If I don't know the answer, I will search and try to give you an answer, but sometimes I don't have an answer or I don't have a good answer right away. And the second reason, I might not answer you. Sometimes the questions are too complicated. It requires a lot of time. Some of those questions require a lot of time to answer correctly. So these live streams are kind of designed so I can answer your questions in a quick way because, everyone has different questions and I try to get through them as quick as I can. All right, so right now everyone should be thinking about English questions and start preparing your questions. And when you ask me questions, part of the learning process is you are trying to make your questions using correct vocabulary, correct grammar, and also using question marks. So when you write a question, please try to make it very clear using your best grammar and use a question mark. All right, now if you want to ask me a question, but you can't because you're not in the chat, you have to log into YouTube to join the chat. And joining the chat is part of the experience, all right? Because I'm interacting with everyone in the chat room. Okay, so if you have a question, start typing that. That's the point of this live stream. So tomorrow I'll also do a Q&A. And then Wednesday, I'm looking at the schedule. Wednesday, I'm going to do IELTS TOEFL preparation. Thursday's pronunciation. Friday is a topic discussion. Saturday is a game. And then Sunday is another English lesson. So I don't expect everyone to watch me every day, but it would be nice if you come to visit once or twice a week to see what's going on here. And I hope I can teach you something and you can learn something in English. All right. So I'm going back to the chat room here to see Lutfi. Hey, sir. Good evening. Arash. Go on, Robin. Fenny. Hello, Robin. Hello. Stephanie Paulus. Hello, teacher Robin. Hello, Stephanie Paulus. And Layla. She asked a question in English. You guys need to start thinking of your English questions. This is not watch Robin live. This is, Q&A. Ask questions and I will answer. Okay, so let's look at Layla's question here. Does this word sentences have more than one pronunciation? You're talking about the word sentences? I think sentences only has one pronunciation, sentences. I'm not aware of any other pronunciation of that word. So it should be sentences. And Arash, he's asking, do you use this word sometimes? Geek. Geek is similar to another English word, nerd. And geek and nerd, usually they mean the same thing, not always. So let me talk about that. So geek would mean, and nerd, usually when we're talking, let's talk about middle school, high school students. And when you're going to middle school or high school, there's usually, well, not, I don't know usually, but sometimes there's one student that likes to study. And they really like to study. And they're very smart. And sometimes they don't have very good social skills. So we kind of call those kids geek or nerd, a geek or a nerd. All right, so they're usually very smart and they don't have very good social skills. So Arash, are you a geek? I'm wondering that. And also with geek, sometimes if someone is really, really, really interested in some sort of hobby, like a strange hobby, we might call them a geek. For example, someone likes to watch, let's say, Marvel movies. We might call him, or he likes to read comic books about comic book characters. We might call him a comic book geek, something like that. But usually it means someone who's a little antisocial, but very smart. So to answer your question, I took too long on your question, Arash. Do I use that word? Yes, I do. It's not always it's usually a negative word, so you got to be careful using that. Geek and nerd. Narges, hello, Robin. Hello. And Lutfi, Mr. Robin, I'm confused about it's. It is, I know if it's. Oh, you're confusing me with your question. I'm confused about it's. I know if it's is, it is. Okay. Sometimes I'm confused with some sentences like it's look good or it looks good. Give me the key. How do we know use the S alphabet? Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Let's erase geek and nerd. So your examples there. I gotta make sure everyone can see that. It's look good. It looks good. Of course, which one of them is right? One of them is wrong. Which one is wrong, guys? I'll put number 1, number 2. Which one is incorrect? Which one is wrong? Quickly, give me a number. Which one is wrong? Hello, is anybody there? Oh, here we go. Arash. 1 is wrong. 2 is correct. First one is 1 is wrong. All right, so good to know that, well, no, Layli and Prakar, you're just putting 2, yeah, for wrong. Yeah, good to know. Most of you know, well, all of you know which one is wrong. So we know, oh, wait a minute. This one is wrong. I don't know what you guys are talking about. So why is this right? Well, we're going to basic grammar when we have our pronouns. I, he, she. Is that too small? Maybe that's too small. Here, I'm going to... Where's my eraser? I'm going to erase this quickly. Do it a little bigger. How high can I go? I, he, she, it, you, we, they, and let's, we still have room. Let's go to the Robin. All right, so we start off with these pronouns, I, he, she, it, you, we, they, Robin. And I think, well, Robin is my name, but it's going to be useful for what I'm trying to teach you. Now, this is a basic rule, and we can never break this rule. When you have a verb, and your verb example was look, we always have to I look, he, she, it is always looks. It has to be with looks. We can never break that. And you look, we look, they look, and Robin. Robin is a he, so it always has to follow with looks. So when you have, going back to your question, if you have it and you have a verb, it's never going to be it is. It's always going to be it looks. I hope that answers your question. Okay, anyway, I got to move on. If I didn't answer your question, try to rewrite your question. Florin, hello. Welcome. Cassio Custodio. Hi, Robin. Can you explain what's the difference between don't mind and doesn't matter? All right, guys. If you're asking questions, it always helps me if you give me full sentence examples. But I will make his examples quick. Erase my board. So I'll put I don't mind. And it doesn't matter. So these would be very common ways to use these two expressions. Now, Cassio here is asking, what's the difference? Well, you can see right away, one is talking about I, and the other is talking about it. And it could be the situation or what you're doing. So it's a little bit different, but they kind of mean the same thing. So if someone asks me a question, can I smoke? Now, which one would I say? I could say both, but there is a better one. Someone asked me, can I smoke? I would probably say, well, actually, I don't like people who smoke around me, but if I'm nice, I might say, I don't mind. I don't mind. But I wouldn't say it doesn't matter, okay? Because smoking does matter. It causes bad health. So these expressions are a little different. So if someone said, I'm going to get a situation where you could say both of them. If someone said, can I see, this is the difficult part of the live stream, because I got to think of examples very fast, and I think I'm a slow thinker. So if someone asks, can I I'm sorry, if someone asks, can I have your oh, someone says, sorry, I broke something of mine. What did they break? I'm sorry, I broke your pencil. Okay, I'll make it very easy. Someone broke my pencil. Now, pencil is very cheap, you know, not worth much money. So I could say, I don't mind. Pencil's not worth much money. And I could also say it doesn't matter, okay? So, because the pencil's cheap. So in that case, someone broke my pencil, I could use both of these. And both of these would express that I don't really care about this problem. So a lot of the time, you can use both of them, and they kind of mean the same thing. I don't really care about this problem. But not every case. Some cases, they might be a little different. Now, which cases? I can't think of every case right now, but if you had example sentences, I can tell you. Adama, hello, good afternoon. Hello, Adama. Florin, I am a geek. Yeah, Florin, you are a language geek. So Florin is really interested in languages, especially German and English. He's a geek. Romario, I'm late. Late is okay. Better late than never. Tan Nui, hello, good evening. All right. Going down. If you guys have questions, now is the time. So Latvi, okay, so she sees, she runs, she walks. Yeah, it always follows that. Must. You cannot break that rule in English. Unless, sorry, I will go back to Latvi. She sees. You can't break that rule. If you have a she, you must have an S on the end of the word. But if you make it negative, when you do make it negative, you don't put the S. But for the affirmative, the positive, it's always she sees. She runs. She doesn't run. She walks. She doesn't walk. All right, Grace. Example. She barged and shoved and wedged her way into my life. Barge, shove, wedge. To me, they look the same. What is different between them? Okay, well, okay, so Grace is asking about the vocabulary. I guess I'll write that here. Barge, shove, wedge. So Grace probably saw that in her book that she's reading every day. Everyone, you should read English every day. And she says all of these vocabulary, they look the same to her, but they don't look the same to me. They're very different. So one by one, what is barge? Barge is to strongly move into, let's say, a room. So it's kind of, you open the door and you walk into the room very powerfully, very strongly. That would be kind of barge. Shove is a verb similar to push. Now, if you shove, you are pushing strongly. So right there, barge is to move quickly and powerfully, and shove is push strongly. Now, wedge is different because if wedge is kind of to move, like if there's a group of people, let's say I'm at a concert and I'm watching my favorite singer, and everyone is standing at the front of the concert watching the singer, and I want to stand at the front, but there's so many people, I have to wedge. So I have to use my power, kind of push people to get into the front. Okay, so all three of these words, not the same, they're different. Barge is very different, but you could say shove and wedge are in the same family of vocabulary, but they're not the same. I hope that answers, Grace. I'm going to move on. Grace asks, how about someone broke the pen that I gave you? Can I say I don't mind? You could say I don't mind if you don't mind. Layla, 48. So I'm about 5 minutes behind in the questions. See, I gotta speed up a little bit. Layla asks, what's the difference between wander and wonder? For example, she wandered. I was wandering with myself when you were asked me. The second one, the grammar is a little strange. Well, wander and wonder, are you asking a pronunciation question? Because if it is vocabulary, wander and wonder are very different words. Wander is kind of walking randomly, and wonder is kind of thinking. You're very curious in your thinking. So they're very different words. So I think the problem might be pronunciation. It's very difficult pronunciation. Wander, wander, and wonder. Wander, wonder. That would I'm sure everyone now listening, Robin, you're saying the same thing twice. I promise you these words have different sounds. This is wonder, wander. All right. That vowel sound does change, and I will talk about pronunciation more on Thursday's class. Come back Thursday, and you can hear more on pronunciation. I would go into more detail of how to pronounce those words, but Layla, those words are wander and wonder, or wonder, wander. Subtitled movie clips. Kevin, do you speak English with Koreans? I try to speak English with all Koreans. Yeah, all my students. I try to speak Korean. I try to speak English with all Koreans that I meet. Very rare that I need to speak Korean in Korea because most Koreans understand basic English. Belajar, Cantonis. Hi, sir. Sorry I'm late. Welcome. Okay, what's happening here? I don't see any questions. Everyone, no more questions? If there's no more questions, then there's no more live stream. Oh, Grace Slim. If anyone has a question about English, that's why we're here. Just get your questions in. All right. Grace asks, I know the words as verb plant. Okay, plant is a verb and a noun. The sunflowers are planted at my backyard. Okay, the sunflowers are planted, I would say, in my backyard. But can I use plant word to a person? You cannot plant a person. You can only plant a plant. Can you guys see that? So in that sentence right there, I'm using plant as a verb and I'm using plant as a noun. So as a noun, what is a plant? A plant, of course, is a sunflower, a tree, anything. You usually take a seed and you put it into the ground. That action is plant. You plant a seed. Or you can have a small tree that you plant in the ground. Okay? And we use the verb plant to put it in the ground so it can grow. And you cannot use that for people. You can only use it for plants. All right? But there is slang. I just thought of that now, Grace. If you said she planted her, this plant could be, I'm not sure where you get it from, it could be a slang word, and plant usually means you punch someone. So I planted her could mean that she punched that person. So that is a different way of using plant. I don't know if that's what you saw. Most of the time this is plant, but there is slang for plant, so be careful. I hope that answers your question. Layla. She says, they raced around a large flat rock. I read this sentence in a story, but I didn't understand it very well. What does it mean, please? Okay, well, I'll draw a picture, and my drawing is not good. So what is that? Well, that is here, I'll make it bigger. Maybe some of you are watching on the phone. There's a person, and Layla, this is a large rock, and it's a flat rock, and they raced around. So they would be two people. They raced around. So the verb race could mean they're running fast. They raced around the large flat rock. They're running fast. Okay, I hope that helps you. Elk Haraz Hassan. Nothing else matters. It's same that I don't mind. Your sentence is a little awkward. Layla, be careful of yourself. Is this sentence correct or not? Be careful of yourself. I think most people are just going to say be careful. I guess it might be possible you could say be careful of yourself. It depends on the situation. You need an example sentence, but in most cases we just say be careful, period. Cassio, there's some difference between the words freedom and liberty. Well, Cassio, freedom and liberty, well, especially liberty, can be used in different ways depending on the situation. Sometimes they mean the same thing, not all the time. I'm just going to check Oxford Dictionary is the dictionary I like to use. Oxford Dictionary does not give me any money. They're just a good dictionary. And the internet is not working well for me, I think because of the live stream. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to check liberty, because liberty has more meanings than freedom. So I'm checking liberty. Yeah, there's so many different meanings for liberty. Now, as I said, a lot of the time, liberty does mean the same as freedom, but not always. There is some difference. Grace, thank you. All right. Subtitled movie clips, Kevin. What's the last thing you've learned in English? For me, well, preparing for yesterday's live stream, I learned about all right. The short form of all right that is wrong, and we should use the long form of all right. That's the last thing I learned in English. I'm not perfect in English. I'm learning every day. You know, a lot of students ask me questions, and I got to check and prepare, and I learn many things every day in English. Andre, you said that you're talking with us slowly. Can you say a few phrases with speed you talk with a native speaker? Well, Andre, it's difficult to do that now. I guess, let's see, if I'm talking here, I'll try. If I'm talking with a native speaker, I might speak more like this. Hey, how's it going? What's happening in your life? So it's a little bit faster, but it's not too fast. As I said, I've been a teacher 20 years, so kind of naturally my voice has slowed down just because I'm living in Korea. But certainly if I go back to Canada, I speed up, but I'm still not really, really fast. I never was. Even as a kid, I didn't speak very, very fast. So if I'm speaking like this, can you understand everything I say, Andre? Am I talking too fast for you, Andre? Grace, also I know the word dangle, as like a boy is dangling in his father's arms, but it can be used not only physically, but also emotionally. between man and a woman. Do you have an example sentence between man and woman? It could be used metaphorically a lot. But yeah, dangle. Dangle is kind of to hang like this. Not exactly, but this is usually like dangle. That's an odd verb. Fenny, can all adjectives add prefixes and suffixes? All adjectives. I'm going to say no. What do you mean prefixes and suffixes? No. You can modify all adjectives, comparing, comparative, superlatives, but these are not necessarily called prefixes and suffixes. Layla, when I see any English sentence or word anywhere, I try read it and translate. Is this a useful way? If that's what you like doing, Layla, then continue doing that. Everything is a useful way. Is it the best way? I don't know for you. I think, Layla, the way you are learning English is working very well for you because I hear your pronunciation, I hear your speaking in the WhatsApp groups, and I think whatever methods you are using, Layla, are working very well for you. Andre, I understood everything. Cassio Custodio. In the famous Louis Armstrong song, he said, I see trees of green, red roses too. I'm confused with the expression because I think the correct is I see green trees. Both ways are correct. I'm just gonna make sure. Before I answer, I'm gonna make sure you got the lyrics right. Not that I doubt you, just okay. Yeah, he says, I see trees of green. Yeah, Cassio. It's a song, so he's trying to be poetic. Okay, so I'm going to say, well, you or I or everyone watching, you should say, I see green trees 100% of the time. Now, Louis Armstrong decided to say, I see trees of green. This is not wrong, but he might have said that for two reasons. The first reason, he's trying to be more poetic in his song. Maybe it sounds better for the song. That's why he says it. Another reason is he might have used that expression himself, but I've never heard that expression before. But everyone watching here, when you're studying with song lyrics, be very careful because the artists, the singers, when they write these songs, they're trying to be very poetic, and sometimes they're using expressions that we normally wouldn't use in our speaking. So Cassio, I want you to always say, I see green trees. All right, Grace goes back to dangle. Don't wait, her phone call. Grace is eating dinner with Gong Yu. She makes you dangle. Okay. Yeah, it could work that way, Grace. Yeah, it could work that way. But people don't say that. That's something I think you maybe got from the book. There's a lot of language that's used in books that we normally don't use in day-to-day life. Being careful or subtitled movie clips. Being careful means making sure of avoiding danger or harm. So if you say be careful of yourself to someone, you tell them to make sure of avoiding harm or danger that's caused by themselves. Yes, in that situation, if you said to someone, be careful of yourself, for example, maybe I'm addicted to drugs. So I take drugs and that hurts my body. So I am the danger to myself. I hurt myself. Someone might say, be careful of yourself. Don't do drugs. So it is possible in that situation. Thank you for your comment, Kevin. Fanny, I watched Fanny video on your channel about adjectives. Great. Yeah, Fanny, she did 5 videos on adjectives. Actually, this week I'm preparing her next videos, which are on adverbs. It's I work, when Fanny makes the videos, I'm working with her to make those videos. I'm the cameraman, I'm the editor, I also write the scripts. It was very difficult to make videos about adjectives. But thank you for watching those videos, Fanny. You're a good student. Layla, which one is correct? I miss you a lot. I miss you so much. They are both correct. They're just both ways of saying the same thing. I miss you a lot. I miss you so much. Adama. How can you make the difference between remind and remember? Oh, Adama, your spelling is terrible. Fix up your spelling. Excuse me. All right, so Adama, I'll fix your spelling, Adama. Sorry, I'm just turning. Remind and remember. I think that's what you're trying to spell. I'm losing my speaking. So what do they mean? Well, go to the dictionary. They're the same family, but of course it's a little bit different. So I need to remember to start my live stream at 10:30. Okay, so I need to remember every day. I have to remember 10:30 Korea time. I start my live stream. Remind is something to help you remember. So at 10 o'clock, 30 minutes before the live stream, my phone alarm goes off. It rings. And that alarm reminds me, oh, I have to start my live stream. All right, it reminds me. Okay, so remember, you have to remember something. Remind is something helps you to remember. I'm not sure what your question is, but I hope that helps. Arash, I noticed there are another confusing words you didn't discuss last night. Sometimes, sometimes, sometime. Oh, Arash, there are thousands of confusing words I didn't discuss that I will discuss in future videos, but certainly sometimes, sometimes, sometime are very different. Now, Arash, I'm not going to go into too much detail about the differences of those words, but of course, those words are very different. I might do that in a future video of confusing words, but not right now, Arash, because that would take a little bit more time. Sorry. Stephanie Paulus, I think the correct sentence is number 2. I miss you so much. No, both of those are okay. I miss you so much. I miss you a lot. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to teach you guys something. Oh, oops. There are many chairs. There is a... Okay. There are many chairs. There's too much money in the bank. Okay. There's too much money in the bank. So we have much and many. And you've learned much and many. Many, we need the plural S. And much is with the countable noun, the uncountable noun. Many, S. Countable noun. Much, uncountable noun. So a lot... I could put a lot of a lot works with both of those. Okay, so a lot works with both of those. So going back to Layla's sentence, I miss you a lot, I miss you so much. They're the same thing. Much can also be a lot. They're both okay. All right, let's see. Going down, Rahat Chowdhury. I am a beginner. How to improve my English skill? Please help me. Rahat, my advice is for you to read. Start reading. That will improve your English skill. The most effective way to improve English in a very quickly and efficiently is to have a hobby of reading every day. 20, 30 minutes reading comic books, reading novels. This will improve your English quicker than studying any English textbook. That is not my philosophy. That is proven. Fatma Salim, classic versus classical. Usage and function, please. Oh, you're asking a lot. Classical. Well, classic, I don't know, I don't want to check the dictionary to find out all the ways, because that's your job. So I'll just comment on my general usage. Classic, I usually use that as a noun. This car is a classic. So meaning this car is an old car. I might say classic. It can be used as an adjective. Classical is usually used, well, it is an adjective. And we usually only use classical with music. Classical music. So I can't think of any other way I use classical. It's usually just talking about classical music when you're talking about Beethoven, Bach, Brahms, all of those great classical musicians. So classical with music, classic. I might talk about a car as being old. Classic has other meanings. that are not related to classical, but I'm not going to go into those. I hope that helps your question, or I hope that answers your question, Fatma. If you want me to talk more about that, you need to write some example sentences so I know exactly where your confusion is. Narges, how can we speak like Native American people? Narges, the first thing I would say is you do not need to speak like Native American people. First of all, accent. You do not need American or British accent. Most of the world that speaks English do not speak with an American or British accent. The American and British accent are in the minority. So you do not need American or British accent. Now, do you need American slang and do you need British slang? If you live in those countries, yes, you need to know them. But if you don't live in those countries, probably you don't need to know and use British and American slang. And why do you need to speak English? Well, if your reason is because of a job, then you need more of a international business English. And international business English, you don't need to talk like a Native American person. If your goal is to watch Hollywood movies without subtitles, that's a listening skill. You don't need to speak like a Native American people. Anyway, if you really want to speak like a Native American people, you probably have to go to the US or England if you want to speak like British people. Are you married, teacher? Nope, I'm not married. All right. Fanny, I'm a little bit behind. I got to speed up. Fanny, when I have conversations with native people, native speakers, I often forget what they said after I had conversations. How to fix that problem, Robin? Is that an English problem or is that a memory problem? I think that might be a memory problem. My memory is terrible, so I can't really give advice. I don't. Yeah, I'm trying to think of a solution to that problem, but why? I would probably focus. Why are you forgetting? Are you nervous? What are the reasons you're forgetting? Sorry, I can't help you. Grace, I can understand 90% what you're talking about on the live stream, but I can't speak. Why can't I speak English? Why is it harder to speak than listen? Grace, I hate you, Grace. No, I'm kidding. Grace, well, the reason I said I hate you, because your English is great. I met Grace. She is a Korean. She lives in Seoul. I went to meet her 2 months ago, and Grace spoke English very well. So I don't know why she's complaining now. Grace, your problem is never English. Your problem is confidence. Fanny, I am missing you. I miss you. I'm missing you. That could mean I lost you and I miss you. Yeah, it means we're apart. I miss you. Grace, can you understand Konglish? Sometimes I don't know it's wrong English or not. Well, Grace, long time ago, I taught Konglish expressions. So I'm seeing if I have those. If the other people, you might be wondering, what is Konglish? Well, Konglish is Korean English mixed. So I'll put a link below. Whoa. let's see. I taught many Konglish expressions. If you go to that link, you can see some of my old videos teaching some Konglish expressions, and maybe that can help you. Layla, someone asked me this question. Are you using phone or PC? But I'm confused about it. I hope won't be my question silly. I am sorry. Well, it's not silly, but it has an easy answer. So phone is this, and I'm using my computer now for the live stream. So there's two kinds of computers, either the phone computer or the big desktop computer. So I would ask you, are you watching me on your phone or are you watching me on your PC, so your home computer? I hope that understands. I hope you understand. Just checking. I'm thinking back of all your questions. All right, let's move on. Federico Naranjo. Can you speak about indefinite pronouns? I can speak about it, but do you have a question? I can't teach all the indefinite pronouns right now. Indefinite pronouns, from my memory, that's talking about like anyone, anybody, nobody, things like that. I would say, yeah, you'd need to study indefinite pronouns and the grammar with indefinite pronouns, because sometimes the grammar is a little tricky. So Federico, if you have a specific question about an indefinite pronoun, I would be happy to help. But your question is too general, so I can't really talk about that I don't know what to talk about indefinite pronouns. I can't teach them all right now. Sorry, Federico. Fanny, it's because my English not good to understand what they said. Oh, Fanny, it takes practice when you're speaking. Don't worry about it too much. Grace, you would be handsome in that video. You're talking about my old videos? I think I'm better now, Grace. Mon, I hope you make a WhatsApp group for intermediate level. Well, all of you should check my links below to go to my WhatsApp page. And I have various groups in my WhatsApp pages. Group 3 is a little bit higher level. So, I don't know. Mon, what's your name? What's your name in my WhatsApp groups? Maybe I can move you to a different group. Stephanie Paulus, thank you so much, Mr. Robin. I got so many new things from you tonight, but I have to go now. See you next time. Okay, see you, Stephanie. Okay, anyway, we're getting up to an hour, so I'm just going to ask everyone here, any last questions? Ask me, and then I'll try to answer them. So get your questions in, because we'll probably finish this live stream in the next 5 minutes. Grace, wow, you've divided the WhatsApp groups by level. No, I didn't divide them by level, but some groups are old, and the older the group means usually the best students stayed. Weak and very low students they quit very fast. So I have some groups that are very old. And Grace, I can move you to the other group if you want. So, Mon, send me a message in the WhatsApp groups. I can send you to a little bit higher level group. And Grace, if you want to move to a more stable group, you can move. It's up to you. Just send me the message in WhatsApp. Just checking the groups. All right, Layla, which one is correct? I study English hard every day. I study English hardly every day. Both of them are correct, but they mean very different. They mean very different things. Once the first sentence means you study English hard, and the second sentence, I study English hardly, which means you don't study English. And Fanny made a great video. I'm just going to put the link below. Share, copy, and I'm putting the link. There's the link to Fanny's video where she explains hard and hardly. Yeah, Mon and Grace, you seem like a good match. Why don't you both contact me in WhatsApp and I'll put you in the same group. All right, there's no more questions, so I'm going to end the live stream. And I'll be back here tomorrow. So if you have any other questions, you just come back tomorrow. All right. So thank you, everyone, for participating tonight. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already subscribed. If you want to continue talking with me, I'm in the WhatsApp groups, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, wherever you can keep talking to me. So it's already over an hour. Wow, time flies when you're having fun. Anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see everyone tomorrow or later this week. Bye, guys. See you, Casio, Fanny, Layla.